Hi, I'm Dr. Greg Ellis, and today I want to do a little nutritional consultation session with one of my site visitors. His name is Mi Chi Nas, and he laid out his scenario of what he does on a weekly basis. He's given me some information. I don't have it all. He gave me his weight at 184 pounds, gave me his age at 38. So I'm just going to assume he's about 5'10". I may be wrong about that. And he described his exercise routine. He does 90 minutes on the treadmill 4 to 5 times per week, inclined 8 to 10% grade. That machine tells him at 3.2 miles per hour that he's pushing 900 calories doing that exercise activity in each session. These machines are generally notoriously wrong in their calculations, but let's go with it. Now, his daily food intake is 1,800 to 1,900 calories, and he's stalled in his weight loss. Again, we don't know what his fat percent is. Metabolic adaptations are tied tightly to how much fat you have on your body, so without knowing precisely the fat percent, we don't know if his calorie needs are decreased. Okay, let's go through a standard exercise, believing that the calorie theory is correct and that it's been established by the doubly labeled water technique. The information can be gathered on my site in the metabolic calculator. So we put in his basic information and we find that his resting metabolic rate is 1,764 calories. That's the number of calories he needs to stay alive each day. That's the base. Now, the typical person who does no additional activity in the course of a day will increase their calorie burn by 55% of their resting metabolic rate. And I have the calculations in there. So this shows that his resting metabolic rate is 1,764. When we plug in 55% more to account for the activities of daily living, his caloric output rises to 2,734. 2,734. Now, we've done nothing yet to deal with his exercise. He does some weightlifting, so I'm just going to assume that we might add another 800 calories averaged out over the week to deal with his exercise activity. Now we arrive at the figure of 3,534 calories being expended. And we look further down the chart, we'll see that his total daily energy expenditure and his expenditure from daily physical activity are significant. They rise to the 2.0 level, meaning with all his physical activity, he pushes calories to the tune of twice his resting metabolic rate. That's what we've got. Now, if we assume that 3,534 calories being burned, and we assume 1,900 eaten, we see a deficit of 1,634 calories. So, what are we to believe here? What are we to assess? We've got to assume the calorie theory is correct. I don't question it for 1 minute. I don't know the extent of any metabolic adaptations he has because I don't know that. We can't measure that, nor do we know his fat percent to even be able to predict it. So, my counseling to Mi Chi would be that you are not counting calories correctly. You are not eating 1,800 to 1,900 a day, as you believe you are. You're eating significantly more. Now, one thing I've discovered over the years is that people just blow the calorie counting. And even if I tell them that, they can't seem to figure out how to do it correctly. And I've given up trying. So generally I tell people, because they'll come back and say, well, I can't lose weight, I'm eating 1,200 calories a day. Well, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. You're not eating 1,200 calories a day because all your calculations indicate, let's say, for example, you're burning 2,500 calories a day. You've got to lose on 1,200. And we know that when these studies have been done and they locked people away in a room and they fed them the 1,200 calories, they all lost weight. So we know people were miscounting their calories. We know they're overcounting the amount of calories they burn from exercise. These are just all actual scientific facts. So I'll put people on, say, an 800-calorie diet. So keep counting the way you're counting and just eat 800 calories a day. But I'll starve, they claim. I'll starve. Well, you won't starve because you're not counting your calories correctly. 800 will be far more than that. Now, if you really want to get a handle on this thing, you make up a diet from regular foods where you can know the precise number of calories in the food, like an egg, like some bacon, and you make yourself up, say, 3 meals a day, and you eat the same 3 meals a day where you know precisely what the calorie count is because you got it right off the label or right out of the book, and you eat that, and you see what happens after 3 weeks. That's called titration. Another way to do this is make up a formula drink with a precise number of calories in it, and you drink that 3 times a day, and you discipline yourself to do this for 3 weeks to find out exactly how many calories you're burning. And then what you'll discover is that you're burning or eating far more than you think you are because you're miscounting calories. This is an epidemic. Everybody does it, and it's just a common problem. I've done it, misguessed at this, and this is one of the main reasons why people argue that the calorie theory doesn't count. Because they said, I tried that, and it didn't work. I tried that calorie theory, and it did not work for me. That's why it doesn't work, because you're miscounting the calories. So, Mi Chi, this is the nutritional analysis that I made for you. And we added it up based on the actual numbers that we know work, and I would counsel you that you are consuming far more calories than you believe you are. So take a look at that. I wanted to answer your question that you put up on the Facebook page and give you this evaluation. Okay, I'm Dr. Greg Ellis.